Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out another game from the LD29 competition. This one recommended to me by my friend and fellow YouTuber Northern Lion. This is Drill18 The Mars Project by developer and also fellow YouTuber Quill18. It is essentially a sim game. We're going to be building a series of rooms and drill apparatuses to try and generate the most possible profit from mining the depths of the planet Mars, and hopefully, if we're successful, we will reach the solid diamond core of Mars. It's a thing that is outlined in bold red letters there on our title screen. And before we get into things, I just want to say I spent a few minutes with this. It's a game where, on the surface, you know, based on like a quick assessment of like the art or something like that, I may have passed over, and I'm kind of glad that Ryan recommended this one to me because it's actually quite rewarding and runs a nice balance between being simple enough to be very accessible and also complex enough that it could hold your attention and could be easily rebalanced to be both a very difficult and very rewarding game if it needed to be. But in this case, we're not going to try to stress things out too much. I just kind of want to show off the game, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So, on our title screen here, you have just been deployed to oversee a mining operation on Mars. Yay? I saw how it went down in Red Faction. Didn't seem all that good there. Make a profit, keep your workers content, and see if you can reach the fabled diamond core of Mars. Controls, arrow keys to move the screen, mouse to dig tiles and place rooms. You start with one builder room. Your first builder is arriving by shuttle. Click dirt tiles to have your builder dig them out. Your builder will also automatically repair rooms that get damaged. After you've cleared an area that's at least 3 tiles wide, you should be able to build a drilling room so you can start collecting ore will be sold to shuttles, which visit regularly to bring more workers and supplies. You don't actually have to pay attention to most of the stuff, because I'm going to go over it again when we start the game anyway. I just wanted to go over it as a sort of a baseline here. So before long, your workers will require sleep, food, and entertainment. Make sure to supply them with the required rooms. If they get too cranky, they will leave, and you will lose a star. If you run out of stars, you are fired out of a cannon into the sun. Pretty reasonable, I think, with the whole interstellar mining thing. I guess people are rather expendable. So click on the drill head to dig deeply and greedily, and also to generate a lovely cat purring noise, I've found out. The lower you go, the harder it is for your workers to dig out tiles. Drilling rooms on lower levels will produce more ore. Science labs will make all your workers move and work faster, or refineries improve the price you get for selling your ore. And now we can actually select what kind of game we want to play. So sandbox, unlimited money and stars. I find that not the most rewarding thing. I think you want some kind of a challenge or something to put your, abilities up against. Easy, start with $10,000, and hard, start with 1,000. Actually not a hugely meaningful difference between the two of them, I suppose, except for maybe being a little bit challenged to not have the money at the very start of things. But I think after a little while you'll get it sorted out. I'm going to go with easy, though, just to make sure we don't end up running into a snag here. So the shuttle's going to drop off our first builder here, and we're going to essentially just dig right into the earth, because what we need to do is start building up rooms as quickly as possible. And you might notice that I actually have the cursor still left on for this particular episode, which is not a thing I normally do, but since this is sort of a strategy-style game, I figured it would make some sense. So we're going to build a bunk room first of all. Then we're going to drill down one, and then we're going to dig out a few more tiles in both directions, try and give ourselves a little bit of a better chance to get all the rooms that we need. That way we can start scaling and expanding in a meaningful way, because we actually have enough money that it's not a huge issue right now if we spend a little bit extra than you might have wanted. So the things that come to mind when I first start playing this, I'm going to be trying to talk and think at the same time, of course. I want to build a recreation center. I want to make sure everybody's entertained right from the start. But the things that come to mind are most immediately XCOM Enemy Unknown, with the whole like building your base element of it. Of course, this reminds me a little bit of something like Sim Tower as well, or any of the various games that require you to, manage individual citizens while also trying to expand and build upon an empire. And I find that to be a pretty rewarding style of play. And it's something that a lot of the time, I won't necessarily go out of my way to find a game like this, but once I find it, I tend to get very easily addicted to them. Same with, something like The Sims, of course. There's something just very addictive about trying to, kind of run the lives of someone else and turn it into a successful something. I guess maybe stems from some sort of inherent vulnerabilities of me as a person. I don't know. Maybe not. So, pretty soon we're going to need to build a drilling room. In fact, so soon that I'm going to say right now we're going to do that. That should trigger another person to hopefully get dropped in on the next shuttle, and then things will start to pick up. There we go. So this is a driller named Garfy400, I believe his name was. And so all we need to make sure we do now is just keep expanding at a reasonable rate. Try and make sure we have enough accommodations for everybody that gets added to the crew, and then just keep things flowing, and then we will end up in sort of this cookie clicker style Skinner box-esque number generation game, which is surprisingly rewarding at times. Not always, but, you know, in this case, I think it works out fairly nicely. And if we want to take just a moment here, I'll just scan myself down until we see. This is our goal, of course, getting to the solid diamond core of Mars. And it is, it's pretty far away right now, but it's not as far as you would think, because once things start really kicking up, things tend to spiral up very quickly. So we're going to build an ore refinery to try and get a little bit better value out of the ore that we mine. And then I'm going to continue to dig lots more rooms out, because I want to just start to build a whole bunch more drills. And then we'll start to be able to profit a little bit more quickly. I could probably do with another builder or something pretty soon, because we need somebody to keep repairing all this stuff that's going to keep breaking. Because as the formula goes right now, there's not a whole lot of chances that we're going to really find ourselves stuck in a dead end, but there is always that possibility that maybe we just run out of manpower and then start to kind of toil away without having the ability to build enough rooms or something like that. So, you know what, I should actually probably just take care of this right now. And in case you were wondering, if you really need to, you can, of course, highlight and delete a room if you need to make room for something else, or if you build yourself into a corner, which is possible, however, not super likely. So once this is done, this next area on the floor, ground floor level here, not ground floor, the 4th floor rather, then I'm going to build a science lab there, which should build up the efficiency of the workers, so they actually tend to walk around a little bit faster, and tend to, you just get kind of more bang for your buck out of each person individually on your team. They all seem to be very concerned with this ore refinery right now, but I would like for them to start building a little bit more. And the problem starts to kick up that if we end up with this one dude here that's like our only builder, and he just is constantly preoccupied with other things in his day, he's just going to keep walking around, trying to repair rooms and such. Well, I guess he kind of has to. There's not a lot of alternatives right now. But I really need to just build another builder room, and I was kind of hoping he would do it up here. But things are going awfully slowly. You know what I could do? Why don't we just unhighlight all of these other ones and force him to build on the top level? And you're probably wondering, why don't I just put something in this 3 space here? I probably should do that, to be honest with you. I'm just being kind of obstinate about my room placement. So I guess one of my quirks is that I tend to be a little bit anal about how those things go. I want to make sure everything is sort of, you know, composed and put together in a way that sort of makes some kind of sense. Although that's not really necessary here. In fact, if you sprawl, there's really not a huge penalty as long as you build enough science labs to make people walk around fast enough. So, if this builder dude would... Okay, we got a new builder. I'm gonna just say, like, hopefully we could just keep expanding here, and before you know it, should be able to get another drill in. Extra drills mean more money means more problems, and, well, you know how that goes. Science lab is gonna go right in here, and we've got plenty of money still. We've got 5,000 credits. The rooms are not particularly expensive. Ooh, and let's throw another drill room in there. I think I accidentally just put a room down to excavate. That's not what we wanted. And we'll build another bunk up here, too, because they're going to run out of rooms to sleep in pretty quickly, and then they're going to be pretty upset about that, which, you know, I don't blame them. You shouldn't have to share your beds with a bunch of other sweaty miners. It's a rough life on Mars, as I'm sure you know. Now, you're probably curious, is there anything going on off to the left or right of this world? Unfortunately not. It does seem to go infinitely, as far as I can tell, so you could really just spend your entire life building up a mining operation on Mars if you really wanted to, but, you know, there's not a whole lot of impetus to at this point. I'm kind of amazed and fascinated by the fact that this was created in only 48 hours. It's a pretty ambitious game. The fact that all the characters move around to where they're actually designated to go, and all the animations take place, and they're all, you know, it just works itself out in a nice way. And I have to say, that's pretty impressive to do all of this stuff and make a coherent game in that short amount of time. You know, the game is fairly simple. I don't think anyone would argue with that as far as graphically, but for what it is, it's also surprisingly deep. And I think more than anything, if not that it's deep right now, it at least shows potential, or that there's framework for being expanded upon in a pretty deep and meaningful way later on. I could imagine that there could be events that take place every now and then. You could run into maybe some sort of like a randomly generated scenario where each time you start a game, maybe there are certain things you have to mine through. so the challenges could be a little bit different. There could be various challenge modes that might task you to have a certain style of operation. In fact, there could be all kinds of new rooms that get added. You know, all sorts of things are easily expandable on this, and I could see this easily being a game that would transition very well to something like an iOS device. I'm being extremely slow, by the way, to expand right now, which is really to my own detriment. Should probably build out another 2 there, put another builder room, and I think we're doing all right as far as resources and things go. I think really our only priority right now should just be to consider the needs of our workers, make sure we're still scaling up properly, and eventually we're going to have to probably build a few more, like dining rooms and entertainment rooms and things like that, but you know, it's coming along fine. I haven't dug down in quite a while. As you can see, as I dig each time, though, the price that it takes to go down further does expand and get higher, so it does have that, you know, that element of, like I said earlier, the cookie clicker thing, where the numbers can get really out of control, and once you start seeing enough of these guys all doing their drilling at the same time... Oh, there's not enough beds. Well, we can remedy that very, very quickly. But I had numbers that were up in, like, the trillions in just a few minutes of completing the task of getting to the diamond core. You know, it's a little sad that maybe at this point there's not a whole lot of other complexity to involve ourselves with. It's just kind of more of the same. But it is a management task in trying to maintain these people all at the same time, have enough buildings and enough rooms and all of the things that they need, while still, you know, concerning yourself with the idea of expanding and increasing your money. It's just that the things that you buy never really increase in money except for the drilling down. So you usually end up with a pretty big surplus of, you know, monetary capital by the end. It's kind of redundant. So we'll do 2 more drill rooms. We can build out more refineries, and I've just been kind of doing the same thing here. This is what I did on my last run. I basically just put all the drills on the left side, all of the refineries and science labs on the right side, and then just kept drilling down. And right now, my credits are at 13,000. We have more than we started with, and we've got 9 workers, which is not a huge number of them, but it is easily expandable. I kind of wish, too, there was maybe like a prison architect element to this, too, that maybe there was a little bit more in the way of, like, personality to the individual characters. It's cool that they're named and stuff, and that it actually tells you when they show up, but, you know, there's not a whole lot individual about them. They just kind of are all worker drones, which, for the sake of management, is very ideal, but for the sake of trying to make something more simulatory, well, a little less ideal. But, you know, again, LD game, 48 hours, kind of crazy that you could even consider adding some kind of features like that. I could see, though, that there could be a framework added of just having a few base-level stats of people that tend to make them more or less efficient as workers, or tends to make them gravitate towards one type of room over another, and maybe you could add complexity in the style of rooms other than just the ones that exist right now that would help augment that as a possibility. But, you know, as it is, for a base level, very balanced. I would say that the things, effects and features that are added to this all complement each other fairly well. So, I think you can kind of get the trajectory of where we're going. I don't want to belabor the point too much, but we will continue to drill down at our leisure. I think this is where we start to get to the point that I'm going to start to spiral out of control in terms of money. I'm now at 61,000 credits, so we're like 7 floors down. I haven't even built anything on the 6th or 7th floor yet, and I already have 61,000 credits, and it's just every few moments we're just going to keep getting more. So if I started building another refinery, another science lab, the efficiency starts going up, and before you know it, I've kind of broken the curve, as they say, and that's fine. That's probably why there's a hard mode, and that's probably what I should have done. But I just wanted to make sure that you'd get a fair shake on what is fun about this one, and why you should probably check it out. Definitely one of the more rewarding and robust LD games that I've run into. No more beds. We gotta build another bunk, which is not very difficult to do. In case you're wondering, too, as things get more difficult to mine through as we get further down, it's not that they're incredibly difficult to mine through, because by the time you get down there, you're gonna have so many workers that it's like, it'll be kind of trivial. You also won't need anything from down there all that badly, so it's kind of like, you know, the balance, the ratio reward, the pros and cons to that are not especially daunting or anything like that. You'll pretty much be able to power through it. But with that, I think I will wrap up the episode. Drill18, the Mars Project, go check it out yourself if you'd like. The link will be in the description if you'd like to either play this directly in your browser, or you can even download it. Forgot to mention, too, it does have cat-based sound effects. The only one that I noticed was the drilling sound, which I'll be quiet and do that once so you can try and hear it. Pretty sure that's just a cat purring, which is adorable and awesome. But if there's more, that's fantastic too. And the music is also really good to complement what's going on here. Definitely makes you feel like you're just sort of in it to just relax and have a good time. And it doesn't feel super serious, which is kind of nice too. A lot of games get caught up with making the ambience very, very serious. And that can be, I don't know, I don't think detrimental. But in this case, I feel like I'm having a fun time. It sort of reminds me of the building top-down sections of ActRaiser or something, where I don't get too caught up in the emotional aspect, although I guess there were moments in that game where that did happen. So one of your workers upset about something, make sure they have enough, or have the rooms needed to satisfy their needs, or will leave and you'll lose a star. Okay, so I should probably build more entertainment and more... Oh yeah, he's pissed. I don't know what he needs, but this is where I would just start to build more stuff in general, which isn't difficult, because we've got plenty of spaces for that. And pardon again that I'm just building so freaking slowly. This is just me trying to talk at the same time. I think everybody's probably gonna be alright in this particular mining facility. But yeah, go check out the game. Links in the description. Play it online, play it in as a download. There's a Mac, there's a Linux, there's a Windows build, pretty much whatever you want. And go see how far you can get, you know? Play this until the numbers break, if you can. That would be kind of entertaining. I did find, too, when you get to the end, you can actually drill down beyond the diamond, although I'm not sure you can necessarily mine out tiles to the left and right of it, but it is kind of cute to see, like, the numbers still keep going up as you just keep drilling down. So this is just infinitely scalable as far as I can tell, and it looks like you can just keep going even beyond, well, not beyond diamond, but just way deep into the diamond. It would be kind of cool, too, if there was some kind of, like, special secret goal after you get through the diamond for a while, like a super, super end game or something, but, you know, that kind of goes beyond the scope of, I think, what was intended here. So, yeah, positive feelings about this. Glad I played it, glad I found it, glad it was recommended to me, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well, so leave me some comments, let me know what you think about it, and we will depart for another day. So new episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. Hopefully you'll come back for another one tomorrow, and I will see you back for that. So have a fantastic night, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.